Guys, we cooked. We hit all of our 5 bets. All 5 bets were easy wins and we are back to 20 units of profit. Giannis covered with 6 minutes left. Jaren Jackson Jr. third quarter cash. Jarvis Walker third quarter cash. Tomani Kamara third quarter cash. And Malik Monk another third quarter cash, as easy as it gets. And let's now dive into today's slate. I'll have 3 official bets, so stay tuned. And my first official bet will be Steph over 27.5 points. Pretty widely available, 27.5, a bit juice, so I'll go with minus 125 on this. First, we need to start with setting the expected minutes. We have expected minutes with 26 to 36. I think the floor should actually be 30. Now with Butler, they need Steph playing heavy minutes in order for them to have any chance to win. So I'll go with 30 to 36 minutes here. And on the season, we can see that with those minutes, Steph is 50-50 win rate against this line, but averaging 29.4 points. First, let's look at the head-to-head game they already played this season, and Steph dropped 39 points. Because, as we can see, Minnesota Wolves allows the most pick-and-roll ball handler points and 5th most handoff points. That's how Steph scores most of his points. So this matchup actually works great for Steph. In that game, he ended up shooting 28 field goal attempts, 15 threes, and had 7 free throws. Insane volume, but that's how Wolves defend the entire season. They don't double opposing best players. They just put the best defensive players on them and play drop coverage with Gobert protecting the rim. So, let's dive deeper into why I like this. We can see that in that game, Steph had 40% usage, 28 field goal attempts, and 40% usage. Now, looking at the pace, we can see that Wolves play at 12th highest pace. So let's exclude bottom 10 teams in pace. And now we can see that he covered this line in 11 out of 16 games, averaging 32.3 points per game. But it gets even better. Looking at the usage, we saw that he had 40% usage against the Wolves. So let's look only at the games when he had at least 20% usage, which is half the usage he had against the Wolves. And in that case, Steph covered this line in 11 out of 14 games, averaging almost 35 points a game. So unbelievable spot for Stephen Curry. We can see that lately, even players like Keyonte George scored 43 points on the Wolves, and he also took 28 field goal attempts, the same as Steph Curry the last time he played them. We could also see that Kobe White scored 22 points in the last game. I just realized you didn't see the part where I showed you that Wolves allow the most points to pick and roll ball handlers and 5th most to the handoffs and 10th most to the free throws, also 7th most in transition. Those are the ways Steph scores, and this is great for him against the Wolves tonight. So definitely expecting a ton from Steph, especially with no Butler. It's like he needs to score a ton in order for Golden State Warriors to have any chance of staying into these games. And also looking at the last game, first game without Jimmy Butler, he ended up scoring 38 points and took 27 field goal attempts. Huge volume. So I think Steph will definitely try to carry this team to the playoffs. And let's now move to the second bet, which will be Naji Marshall over 16.5 points, minus 128 FanDuel. There are a couple of other spots with 6.5, so make sure to shop around. Naji has been playing great lately. We can see that over the last 10 games, he's averaging 20.5 points and covered this line in 6 out of 8 games. One under came against the Bulls, where he shot horrible, both from free throws line and as well from the field, 4 from 11. And then against the Jazz, he was close to covering. He missed 2 free throws to cover, so he was supposed to cover in that game as well. But let's look at the season when he's playing expected minutes, which is 28 to 38. But I think he will get 30 no matter what, because they are short-handed. So when we look at the entire season, when he played between 30 to 38 minutes, we can see that he is averaging 18.5 points, covered this line in 11 out of 18 games. But we can see that on the injury report, there is no Anthony Davis tonight. And when we exclude the games without Davis, his points average goes up to 21.6 points a game and covering in 7 out of 9 games. Also, looking at the matchup, we can see that he scores most of his points at the rim. So let's take a look at the matchups when he is playing teams who who are outside top 5 in defending the rim. And now he covered this in 7 out of 8 games, averaging being 22.4 points. We are getting 16.5 line in a great matchup. So this is a perfect spot for Naji Marshall to cover in this game. Earlier this season, he already played against the Lakers. We can see that he scored 16 points in 25 minutes. So AD played in that game. He was on short minutes and he almost covered. He was so close. Now he'll get 10 more minutes without AD in a great matchup. I just love this spot for Naji Marshall. And also, if you look at the similar players, we can see that they covered in 6 out of 10 games. And we can look last 7, 6 covered. We have PJ Washington with 22, Keldon Johnson with 17, Keldon Johnson again with 27, and even Kyle Kuzma covered in the last game. So this is absolutely an amazing matchup for Naji Marshall, and he should cook the Lakers tonight. Third official bet is coming from the same game, Deandre Ayton over 11.5 points, and it's widely available. So looking at the numbers, you can see that he got injured against the Denver, played only 15 minutes, and next game he got benched. He was poor. They were on a run without him, so they decided to stay away from him in the fourth quarter. But he now gets one of the best matchups in the league, and he usually performs well in great matchups. We can see that most of his points are coming from the under 10 feet and from the paint, and that's where Dallas allows the most points in the league. Also, they allow second most to the putbacks, average to pick and roll man, so great numbers. Also, looking at defense against position, they allow third most to opposing centers. We can see that similar players to Deandre Ayton covered this in 6 out of 9 games, and just by position, they covered in 7 straight games, averaging 30% more points than their closing lines. Absolutely cooking Dallas, especially with no AD. So we can see Claxton with 13. Darren Sharp 14 points in just 23 minutes. They are just getting cooked by opposing bigs. And let's now look at DeAndre Ayton. He gets the expected minutes, and looking at the entire season, we can see that he's averaging 14.4 points, going over this line in 67% of the games. But the key thing is the matchup. When DeAndre Ayton is playing teams who allow above average to his position, we can see that he covered this line in 9 out of 10 games, averaging 17.1 points. If we increase the minutes up to 36, we can see that he covered in 14 out of 16 games, averaging 17 points a game. And the games that he didn't cover, he was really close, like 11 points against the Kings and 10 points against the Houston in a very rough matchup against Adams and Şengün inside. So if we take a look at the games when Doncic played, win rate doesn't change. If we take a look in the games when LeBron James played, the win rate doesn't change. And look at the games with both LeBron James and Luka Doncic, he's still covering 6 out of 8 games, averaging 14.8 points a game. And now we have a line at 11.5 in great matchup. So this is definitely a spot we need to take on Ayton. He can cover this in 3 quarters, and that's actually something I expect. So even if he doesn't close the game, I still think he should cover. Luka Doncic could be getting double team on every single possession, and that should open up a ton of space for DeAndre Ayton inside. As you can see, they are poor paint defense anyway. So yeah, great matchup. And let's now try to build a big same game party for Boston against the Bulls game. I'll start with Josh Giddey, 6 plus rebounds, then adding Josh Giddey 6 plus assists, and then we'll just finish Josh Giddey part with 10 plus points. It's plus 137, but let's now add some correlation. If he's going to have assist, I think Nikola Vucevic should make some threes. So adding Nikola Vucevic 2 plus 3s, and it's plus 325 on FanDuel. And I'll now dive into why I like this spot. Going back to PropsMadness, and we're going to Josh Giddey. Looking at his assist when he gets 25 or more minutes, we can see that he gets 6 plus assists in 25 out of 29 games. So he could be on a minutes restriction. So when we look at the games when he played 25 to 35 minutes, he's averaging 32 minutes. He still covered 18 out of 22 games. I think he gets at least 28 to 30 minutes tonight. So that should be great. Another spot is his rebounds. When he gets 25 to 35 minutes, he covered his rebounds in 19 out of 22 games. Points self-explanatory, just adding because we are already betting his rebounds and assists. If he gets minutes, should also cover the points. And the last part is Nikola Vucevic threes. We can see that on the season, when he gets his expected minutes, which is 26 to 36 minutes, against teams that allow a ton of threes to his position, we can see that he covered this in 13 out of 14 games, averaging almost 3 threes a game. And we can see there is a game against the Boston Celtics, and he had 3 threes made, and we are getting great price for this very correlated bet against Boston Celtics, who allow a ton of catch and shoot and a ton of threes. And I can see George Giddey driving and kicking it out to Kobe White and Nikola Vucevic, getting rebounds and moving in transition. So loving this spot. I won't track it as official bet. It's like in the part of the links, just additional research with PropsMadness. And I know you guys love these types of bets. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and see you on to the next one.